Hey ladies and gents, this is Linda Chic777 and I'm going to teach you how to make a jewelry holder or a necklace holder. Really easy. I found these boards, they're like tongue and groove boards actually at our church. They like had a big pile of them with an inch of dust on them. They weren't using anymore, all kind of cut up in long lengths, so I just kind of cut them down to the length I wanted, and then I added some knobs that you could hang your necklaces off of, and then, you know, I usually like to put like a woodward or something on them. The paper behind there, you have a couple of options. You can just kind of glue paper on top, that way, but I chose to do the paper to wood transfer method, and I used a little bit different product to do this, and I gotta tell you, kind of loving it. Okay, here it is. It's a polyacrylic. It is water-based. I got it at Walmart. I got the clear matte because I like kind of just the matte finish. I actually saw this on a video here on YouTube, and I think I mentioned it because I have shown this process before using a Prima's 3D matte gel. And then I showed this saying, you know, just kind of showed the can saying I haven't tried this before, but, you know, I saw it on a video and want to try it. Well, this time I decided to do it, and I love it. And I think I love it more than using my Prima 3D matte gel. But you have to make sure that it is water-based, and you can use it as kind of the glue, almost like a Mod Podge, okay? And then you can use it as a sealer over the top if you want, but I tend to use Mod Podge over the top. Anyway, so this is what I used, okay? So let me just show you a couple of boards here. So this is, you know, one that I showed you came up with. There are ones like I made this one. And see, it just looks like the paper's kind of like melted onto the wood, and I love that process. Okay, and then there's one like this. It's really kind of cute. All these words, this is actually a chipboard word. These wood words here I got at Hobby Lobby. I think these are like 99 cents. This I got on clearance, and it was like 74 cents or something like that. Really thick kind of chipboard word. All my knobs, some of my knobs like these, got at Habitat for Humanity resale store. Ones like this I got at Hobby Lobby when they're like half off, so I think this actually cost me like $1.49. These are fun hooks to be able to hang necklaces off of. I had made these for Christmas Craft Bazaar last year, and I made about 6 or so, sold out. And I think I ran them about $12. Sold out. These are knobs from Habitat. This is a cute, this heart knob is from Hobby Lobby. And I, you know, like I said, I think they're like $2.99. Look for the knobs that are like $2.99. So when they go half price at Hobby Lobby, they're only like $1.50. You cannot beat that. And how cute is that to hang necklaces on? Some knobs, all these 3 knobs were actually given to me. My cousin gave them to me. But I think they have these similar knobs at Hobby Lobby, but she collected them as well. This love word actually came from Walmart. I think it's around $1.29, something like that. Just painted it white, spray painted it white, spray paint all my words white. It's easier to do. Okay. So what I started out with, when you're doing, I'm going to show you again on this paper transfer with this. Normally when I do Prima 3D matte gel, okay, let me grab that really quick. Okay, this is what I normally use. It's just basically like a matte gel. Okay, there's soft gel, there's high gloss gel, there's all sorts of things that Prima puts out, Prima Marketing, or if you go to like, you know, Michael's or something like that, and just, you know, look for a medium, a matte medium type gel, same thing. But when I work with this, I would say one of these boards would probably take me one board about a half hour to work with. When you put this on, you have to like let it set overnight. Next day go to the process of this, and it takes about a half hour per board, okay? When I worked with this, and I am not exaggerating by any means, okay, I did 8 of these boards in 2 hours. 2 hours for 8 boards versus a half hour for 1 board. That's how much better this and quicker this made the process. I don't know why. I think it's because the water based of it or whatever it is, you can be a little bit more aggressive when you're doing the process, so you can work a little bit quicker. I don't mind as well. You have to love how it looks distressed, because some of it comes off. You have to love that process. If you want it all nice and neat, you're not going to like this process. But if you like the way the paper kind of comes off, then you'll like it. See? It's going to be chunks that come off. I like that. Sometimes along the edges where it looks a little bit too nice and neat, I take sandpaper and rub that edge off because that's what I like. I don't also get all of, you can see it a little bit cloudy, I don't get all of the paper off the top. I like that. That's okay for me. Okay? So, here is a board that I started. Okay, the paper is already on there, but never fear. Before I did this, I came in and I just filmed the process, and I'm going to show you that right now. All I did is I showed putting this on and this over the top. Now, we are going to be rubbing off the top layer, okay? It's the same process as I've showed before, and it wasn't all that long ago. Whatever paper, if you're using a double-sided paper, okay, let me grab one right here. If you are using a double-sided paper, it's probably if you're using a single-sided paper, you want the print down, okay? If you're using a single-sided paper, you want the print faced down when you go to basically glue it on, okay? If you have any print on your paper, it's going to be backwards when you do this process, okay? So try to pick papers. That's why I try, not all the time, but I try to go with papers that are just designs, not necessarily prints, okay? If you're using a double-sided paper, so say I was using this paper and I wanted this rose print to be the print that is facing up underneath the knobs, then when I go to glue this paper onto this board, I'm going to put the rose print down, okay? So whatever paper that you want to be seen on top, that's the portion you want to glue down, okay? So I'm going to stop the portion of this video right here, and I'm going to insert the process just in kind of a little bit of a slow fast forward, but it just basically shows me painting this on. You want it on fairly thick, and then laying this over the top, okay? So I'm going to insert that right here. Okay, so for this next part of the process, I found, like, I have this just oven pan, okay, and so what I, grabbed it, I'm going to place my board inside, okay, and then I have a glass of water here. Now, this is a little bit different process than I showed in the last one. The last one, I kind of take a wet sponge and I slowly start to dampen the paper on top, and I slowly start to rub, and then I process, and I'm rubbing with my fingers, and I'm getting the paper off, and it's this really long kind of tedious process, but I love the way that it looks. If you're just going to glue the paper on top, you can see how it's just glued on top. You notice that. But in this process, it looks, like I said, like the paper's melted on top. So you can see how the difference is versus glued on. And you can see it looks a little bit thicker, where the paper's just kind of glued on top, where this, it looks like it was just kind of, you know, melted. That's the only word I can think to use. So I love this process. But using this polyacrylic water-based, such a faster process, I can't believe it. So I'm going to lay this down in here. So this is why I'm showing you this again, because it's a little bit different process. I have a cup of water here. I'm literally going to soak, I'm going to pour water right over the top. Okay, and then I'm going to let this, do you see how you can already start to see water spots here in the wood? Let me come a little bit closer. See how it's already starting to damp, and you're seeing water spots in the wood. That paper is already getting wet, okay? So what I do is I just kind of sop this. This is a completely different process, and I've showed you before. I just sop this in water, and I just let it sit for about 2 or 3 minutes. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it's soaked for a couple of minutes. One thing I want to mention, before you start this process and you get your wood, since we're going to be putting handles, you know, knobs on our board, good idea to pre-drill your holes first and fit your screws through, okay? So, forgot to mention that. I have done that, or my husband did it for me. I could have done it, but, you know, I'm like, hey, I need some holes. He's like, I'll do them, you know, so, okay, go ahead. So, he's pre-drilled my holes in my wood where I want my knobs to be, okay? So, that's probably the first thing you want to do, and then you start with this process. So, it's all really wet right now. This is not, your wood is not in the water long enough to, you know, worry about waterlogging your wood, so don't worry about that. I've got just a, you know, sponge here. I've used it on all my stuff. So you just literally come in right in here and you just start the rubbing process. I like to kind of lean it. And you can be, where the other one I'd be like rubbing really gently like this and getting it off, you know, the paper off. This stuff, it's really, you can actually be a lot more aggressive with it. I don't know why, but you can, and I love it. So you can be a lot more aggressive with it. You can see the paper coming underneath is dark. It is because my paper is indeed black underneath there because of the knobs that I have chosen for this particular board. I've got some black paper. It is coming off right in the center because this wood has like a decorative thing in the center, so I didn't bother like trying to glue the paper into that. I just didn't put any type of, I mean, I put the sealer in there, but I knew that the paper, because it's deep enough, the grooves, the paper wouldn't glue and settle onto that. So you will see on my particular board, this paper just comes right off in the center, real easy, just like that, okay? Alright, that's okay. Alright, so let's continue this process. And yes, you might want it on like some kind of mat underneath. Things will tend to splash out and get a little bit wet. Just about almost there, at least with half of this. That's how, look how, I mean, I am rubbing hard. I couldn't do that on my other one with the matte gel, I'd hate to say, but with this poly stuff, I mean, I can rub pretty darn hard. And I don't mind if I'm rubbing hard and like, uh-oh, a big chunk comes out, because that's just the distressed nature of it, and that's what I love. Okay. I'm watching my camera because I'm going to have to switch camera cards here in a minute. We're just getting that top layer of paper off. I mean, I could not rub this hard. I'm not kidding you with the other one. It's crazy. I literally had to gently rub the layers off. I mean, I cannot believe this polyacrylic water-based, and the brand is Minwax. I think it was, oh gosh, I can't remember, $4, $5 at Walmart. Look at that. I'm almost done with this, and I don't think it's been, I started this process with you at about 6 minutes, and I'm down to about 2 minutes on my camera card left here before I have to switch over. So now you know why I was able to do like, 8 or 9 boards in a couple hours. Now, as you can see, when I rubbed, a little bit came off here. I don't care. Okay? And of course, some's coming off where I've got my holes for where my knobs are. That's alright too. Okay? Still watching my... And I might go in a little bit with the fingers to try and just release a little bit more of that paper fiber on top. Just to try and break a little bit more of it up. Get a little bit more friction versus with the sponge. Do you know what I'm saying? See how much... Okay, I'm going to stop right here just a minute and change my camera card over. Okay? Okay, back onto a new card. I think I'm going to be just about done with this. See, as I'm rubbing, a little bit more is coming off there. Like I've said, that's okay. That's the distress of it. So I think I'm going to be just about done with this. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do really quick is I am going to take a little piece of sandpaper because my edges are just too straight for me on this. I want it to look like a little bit of a distressed board. So I'm just going to go along the edges a little bit, kind of rub some stuff off because I don't want it so straight. You can choose to leave it straight. That is okay. I just want to break up that straight edge a little bit. We all kind of like, or most of us, kind of like that distressed look. Okay. Just going to go down around and do that a little bit. Sometimes you can even just kind of get in there with your fingernail if you wanted. Just kind of break it up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do that off camera and I'll be right back so you don't have to sit and watch me do it. Okay, I've distressed the edges. Now you can also, if you don't want to use sandpaper, you can do it with the sponge. You just got to scrub a little bit on the ends and it will, because I did it on a little bit, it will kind of distress the edges a little bit, okay? And as you can see, I'm shining it toward the light because it is still a little bit wet. For me, I want it just a little bit wet. What I'm going to do is just barely dab at it, okay? And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to seal it with Mod Podge. And I want it a little bit wet so that the Mod Podge is, it kind of waters it down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to seal my paper. I want to seal it all down so that all these little distressed edges, if someone goes to use it, they don't come up, okay? So they don't rub it or touch it or get it against something and all those edges come up, okay? Because that's not very nice. You don't want to buy something and, your paper's peeling off. Okay, so I go over the top with it, just all through the board and seal it all over those edges. Of course, I don't have to seal the middle because of the type of board I used. Okay. Leave it a little bit wet. It just kind of waters down that Mod Podge a little bit. Now, if you've got some other stuff to do, you can let it dry if you want. Okay. Or since I'm on video here, I'm going to go ahead and use a heat gun. Okay. We're going to go ahead and dry that Mod Podge. And when it dries, we'll probably see some of those fibers come up. There's just no earthly way to get all the fibers off of this process when you do it. You just try to get as much as you can off so that it doesn't look too milky with paper fibers, but with this process it doesn't bother me so much for what I'm doing with this. And you can do this process with photos if you want to print out photos. You can do it onto canvas. You could do it, of course, onto wood. I believe you can do it onto like metal and glass. I've not tried it on the glass, but I've heard you can do it. I have seen it done on metal, but definitely I've done it on canvas and of course wood. Okay, so there is our process, all nice and dry, not too paper fibery. I'll bring it up here and just show you. Not too bad for the paper fibers. You can see a little bit. But again, that doesn't bother me. It just kind of adds to the distressed look of it. Then the next thing I'm going to do, the reason I chose black and white and a little bit of red is because I have these fun knobs, okay? My cousin gave me these, and I believe this one came from Rena, in a swap. Rena, did you give me this? I think you did. Like, and how many years ago did we do our swap? Anyway, so thank you for that. I have kept it and I'm going to use it. So I am going to go ahead and stop the camera here just a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and put my knobs through my pre-drilled holes, okay? I don't want you to have to sit and watch that. Basically, I'm just going to put them through the holes and screw them in. So I will be back with those knobs in and ready to go. Okay, so I have my knobs on, so aren't those really cute? And I don't mind that one's higher than the other because, you know, that's just more necklaces that you can hang off of that. So I have my word all painted up, my love word. And so I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac glue to glue that down with. And first thing I'm going to do, though, actually is I need to measure right about where I want to put that. Okay, I've got it measured out where I want, just finishing adding my glue. Okay. I don't have any strings underneath there. Okay. Hard to see when I'm trying to do this. There we go. Let me tip it up and make sure I've got it straight. Nothing worse than not having it straight. Alright, cute. Look at that. Let that word settle in there. I let the Fabri-Tac set just a minute or so, and then I push it down a little bit further, and then I make sure nothing leaked out around the edges of the letter, and if it did, then I'll go in and clean that up. Okay. So, there we have our cute little hanger. Now I have a little necklace here I made. Super cute, huh? Little necklace. It says, "Be inspired." Got a couple layers of circles there. Really cute. Hung some little gems from the chain. So anyway, super cute. So necklace hanger, like, you know, you can hang it on the wall. And then people can hang their necklaces off of the knobs. Let me move it up a little bit more. See? So then their necklaces can hang off the knobs. See how cute is that? Now, what you do not want to forget when you make these, do not forget, I'm not going to do it here on camera, but you got to make sure that on the back of your wood you add your little picture hangers, okay? Don't sell it without a hanger for them to hang it on, okay? So make sure that you remember to put your picture hangers on the back of your wood. You're going to put it up on the back, somewhere up near the top. Right about like that, so that they can hang this up like in their bathroom or something and hang their necklaces and stuff off, or bracelets off of the knob. So I hope you enjoyed that very quick kind of start to finish tutorial on how to make your own little jewelry hanger. Like I said, I think I did them for about $12. They sold really well, so I made, including this one, I think I've made 9 of them this time, and so we'll see how it goes. Please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you are not already subscribed. I hope you enjoyed this. I thank you for sharing your time with me.